ahead and dive into Asher's training so we can stay nice and consistent once we get home. When we get home and we give Asher a command and he listens to this command, we're going to either pet, praise, or reward him to let him know he's doing a great job. This is going to help to build a positive reward history. A positive reward history is a positive association with doing an action. The more positive Asher sees an action as, the more often he's going to just give us these good actions or these good behaviors. Now, if he decides not to listen when we give him that command, we're going to make sure that we are using the training equipment to follow through. Okay, dogs learn in pictures, so we've got about 1.3 seconds to either pet, praise, or reward him, or to follow through with the training equipment. So we're going to go over the first command, that way I can use that as an example when using the training equipment, on how to use the training equipment. So, heel is going to be our first command. Heel means to walk politely next to us on the left-hand side with a nice loose leash. This is going to be done about 85 to 90% of our walks. The other 10 to 15% of the time, he's going to be in a free. Free just means that he has the freedom to sniff around, to explore and go potty, and that we are going to be going at his pace, okay? So, we're heeling with Asher. He's doing great. He pulls forward. That's when we're going to go ahead and we're going to follow through using the training equipment. The first item of the training equipment is going to be his prong collar. When using this, we do need to have a lead attached to the spinning D-ring. The collar is not to be big enough to slide on and off of his head. It does need to come apart at the links. So we're going to set the links parallel. We're going to put our fingers on the little horseshoe shapes, and we're going to slide one link down the prong of the other. Now this is all about technique, not strength, okay? So it just slides right down. Now we're going to put it around him. We're going to squeeze these prongs back together. We're going to place them through these other little loops. And that's going to be how we put it on. This is going to sit up nice and high on his neck. Okay, so again, using heel. We're heeling, he's doing a great job, and then he gets a little distracted. Okay, so he pulls forward. We're going to mark that behavior with a no, because that is a behavior that we are not wanting him to do. Okay, so pulls ahead, no, pop and release, just a small little pop and release, heel. We're going to tell him heel again to remind him of what it is he's supposed to be doing. Okay, so we're heeling, pulls ahead, no, heel. So then we have our remote collar. The remote collar is going to sit just below the prong on his neck, okay? So the prong sits up here directly underneath the jawbone, and then the e-collar or the remote collar is going to sit just below that. Okay, so to turn on and off your collar, there's going to be a red circle on the remote and a red circle on the collar. You're going to touch those together and a green light is going to flash. It's going to flash periodically to remind you that this collar is on. To turn it off, same exact thing. Red circle on the remote to the red circle on the collar, and a red light's going to flash. That red light is letting you know, hey, I'm off. So to turn on the remote, there's a large black button on the back. We're going to press and hold that button until that blue light comes on. Once that blue light comes on, we know that the remote is on. To turn it off, same thing. Big black button on the back. We're going to press and hold it, and once the light on the screen turns off, your remote's going to be off. So let's jump back into heel and how we're going to use this to follow through. So we're heeling, he's doing a great job, we're letting him know he's doing great, we're giving him praise, we're giving him treats. He pulls ahead, he gets a little excited. Again, mark the behavior we don't want with a no. Hit the big black S button. That is the button in which we are using when we are using this remote, okay? So we're gonna say no, button, heel. Because again, we're reminding him what it is that we are wanting him to do, which is heel. So, heeling, doing great, gets distracted, no, heel. Okay, so that's how we're going to follow through using the training equipment, all right? The next command is going to be sit. Sit was demonstrated in our door manners video, So we're going to have him sit. Now sit is a short-term stay. We don't teach stay, it is implied. That way we didn't have to teach the dogs a whole nother word. So when you tell him to sit, he stays sitting. Now if he lays down, that's okay. You can always go from a sit to a down, but we don't go from a down to a sit. So we heel him up to the door, he sits, or we tell him to sit. Good boy, good Asher. Give him nice praise and give him a few rewards. We're going to go to open that door and we're going to remind him, verbally remind him, sit. There's nothing wrong with giving a verbal reminder because sometimes he just gets a little excited. Sometimes dogs just get a little excited when things change and when new things happen. So sit, we open the door, good sit, give him a reward, and then we're going to either tell him free, which again means that he is free to explore, sniff around, go potty, or exit the door, or we're going to tell him heel so we can both walk through that door together. Next is going to be down. Down is a long-term duration stay. So that's going to be used if you take him out in public and you're going shopping. You can go ahead and tell him down. He's going to lay down on that ground. When we praise for this one or reward for this one, we're going to make sure that we're putting that treat on the ground, directly in front of him if possible. Dogs follow their nose. So if we go to hand him that treat, he's going to sit up or possibly even stand because he's wanting to follow that nose and he's wanting to get that treat. So again, treat goes on the ground. When he's laying down and we're moving around, again, it is completely okay and possibly very helpful to give him verbal reminders so that he doesn't forget that he is supposed to be staying in that down. Our next command is going to be place. Place is a boundary stay. So we use elevated beds when we teach this one. That way he can kind of feel when his feet fall off or when his feet come off of the bed. So on place, there is no vocalization. There's no barking and there's no whining. There's also no chewing. So that means no chewing on the bed, no chewing on the leash. He can have toys, he can have treats, he can have dog chews or a Kong. That is completely fine. But place is used for when people come over. Place is used for when we're cooking and we don't want him to be being rambunctious in the house. It is a calm place, so we want calm behavior. Again, it is a boundary stay, which means, again, his feet do not come off of that bed. So when he's doing a great job, same thing, pet, praise, reward. We're going to drop that treat onto the bed or onto his place so that he thinks that that is giving him the rewards. It's creating a nice positive reward history with that spot. So he thinks that spot is wonderful. He's going to want to run to it when you have somebody knock on the door or when you're in the kitchen cooking. So our next command is going to be come when called. So I recommend using a 30 to 50 foot long lead when working on this, especially if you are in a large unenclosed area. That's going to be for safety, okay? So when we call him and we say come, we're using a loud, firm tone. That way if an emergency was to happen later on down the line and you are using a firm command, a firm voice when saying come, he's already used to that. So he's going to want to turn around and run to us. Now, when he turns and he starts coming to us, we are going to make sure that we are praising him. Yes, good boy, good boy. And at the same time, we are backing up. Dogs love to chase things. So us backing up is very inviting to him and very exciting. It's letting him know that he can come into our space. Once he gets to us, we're going to tell him to sit. He's going to sit, and then we are going to give him that reward, give him that treat. Now, if by chance he decides to ignore you when you say come, you are going to follow through either using that black button, again, mark the behavior we do not want. No, black button, come. Or you're going to use that long lead, which again is there for safety, but we can also use it to reel him in. And as soon as he starts coming to us, even if we have to reel him in or use that black button, we're going to go right back into praising. Right back into praising. Good boy, yes, Asher, whilst backing up. When he gets to us, even if we had to use the training equipment to follow through, we are going to make sure that we reward him or we praise him, because the correction or the follow through happened out there. It didn't happen right here with us. And we want to be the best, most exciting, most rewarding thing outside for him. We want the absolute strongest reward history when it comes to come. Our next command is going to be leave it. Leave it, I recommend using dog-safe foods. What we're going to do is we're going to drop a piece on the ground and we're going to tell him to leave it. When he ignores that piece of food on the ground, we're going to tell him, good boy, and we will go ahead and reward him. To allow him to pick that piece of food back up off the ground, we're going to walk to that food, point to the food, and tell him, okay, and then he is allowed to have that. Don't forget to stay consistent. Let's go ahead and see Asher's commands in action.
Heel. Yes. Good job. Heel. Heel. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good job. Free. Heel. Sit. Good job. Good boy. Asher, come. Sit. Yes. Free. Free. Asher, come. Sit. Free. Asher, come. Sit. Heel. 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 Sit. 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 Free. Heel. Heel. Heel.
Good boy. Down. Down. Good down.
Come to their spring hiring event on Thursday, May 4th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. AutoZone is hiring for all shifts.
Down.
And maybe to the hiring event, AutoZone has walk-in interviews every Wednesday and Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. AutoZone is the
Good down.
and the leading distributor of automotive replacement parts and accessories in the U.S. They're offering a starting pay of $18.10 per hour with step progressions up to $22.10 plus shift differential.
Good boy. Good down.
AutoZone offers an excellent benefit package. Applicants must be 18 years of age and provide a photo ID. Please apply at AutoZone.com/company/careers prior to attending the event and become an AutoZoner today. AutoZone is an equal opportunity employer.
Berry Garden Center and Flower Shop has tons of great ideas to make Mom's Day perfect.
Good boy.
Their expert designers create a beautiful custom
Good down.
fresh or silk flowers combined with unique gift items and have it delivered anywhere in Vermilion County. Enjoy a breath of fresh air with Mom and build a perfect summer yard. An extraordinary
Free. Heel.
winter combo pots.
Good boy. Yes. Good job. Good place.
Place. Place. Good job. Good job. Good place. 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 Boy. Place. Place. Good job. Cool. Good place. Good job. Place.
Free.
Leave it. Okay. Leave it. Yes. Okay. One more. Leave it. Yes. Okay. Good boy.
So let's go ahead and do a deep dive over Asher's remote collar. So on the remote is a red circle, and on the collar is a matching red circle. This is going to be the magnetic key to turn on and off the collar. So we're going to touch those together. A green light's going to turn on and flash periodically to let us know that the collar's on. Turn it off, same thing, touch those together. A red light's going to flash to indicate that the collar's off. To turn on and off the remote, there is a large black button in the back. We're going to press and hold it. When the screen turns on, we know that the remote is on. Press and hold again. When the screen turns off, we know that the remote is now off. When we are using this, we're going to focus heavily on the large black S button. That is going to be our follow-through button. It is currently at a level 45. Level 45 is worked out for Asher here at the facility for the amount of excitement he has here. This may be too high or it may be too low when you get home. If it is too low, you will know because you'll be having to use that black S button often. Okay, and if that's the case, we're going to increase his level by 5, so from 45 to 50. If it is too high when you are home, you're not going to have to use it very often, but when you do use it, you will see that he is flinching. We're going to then decrease the level by 5, so from 45 to 40. How are we going to do that? It's going to be this knob at the top. You can see now that the level is not changing when I'm spinning it. That is because the level is locked in. When to unlock this level, we're going to press and hold the knob. You know that the level is unlocked because the 1D up top is going to be flashing. Okay, so that's going to be when we're able to change the level. So I'm going to put it back to the 45. Once you get to the level you are wanting, you're going to press and hold that knob again until the 1D stops flashing. That's going to let us know that the level is locked back in. There's this red S button on the side. That is the emergency boost button. We have never had to use it here at the facility. Okay, but again, it is an emergency button, so a just in case button. This button would be used if Asher gets distracted and is chasing a ball or a squirrel across a road. That black S button, the black follow through button, level 45, is not going to be good enough to catch his attention in that emergency, so we're going to boost it with the red button. Now, level 45, again, it hits up to here. This is the top out of his excitement here at the facility. Level 45 works until then. But if he's chasing that squirrel across the street, his excitement level is going to be way higher, okay? And that 45 is only going to get hit to here. So that's when we use that red button, and it's going to reach the top of his excitement level in which it is at that moment. Again, we have never had to use it. It is strictly for emergencies. There's also this large black T button on the side. That is the vibrate button. Farther down the road, this could possibly be used as a warning signal or a warning sign for Asher, but right now it is not necessary in his training. What we're wanting to do is stay very, very consistent with the black S button. On the back, you will see that there is, where is it? That there is a smaller MC button. That is also not necessary to be used in his training right now. What it does is it changes the buttons on the side from momentary to continuous. We use that at the very beginning of his training at an extremely low level to give a positive association with the collar so that there is no fear behind it. So anytime he would feel this teeny tiny bit of stimulation from the collar, we would reward him with treats. Again, he is way past that in the training, and it is not necessary anymore. You also have that on-off button, that large black button. Now, as we know, if you press and hold it, you can turn on and off your remote. But if you tap it, it is a light. You tap it one time and you will get a little strobe light. Press it 2 times, that light's going to stay on consistently. Press it 3 times, it's going to turn it off. This is a really nice feature for when you take Asher outside at night with his collar on. We're also going to charge the remote from the back here, and the collar, oh goodness, and the collar also gets charged here in the back. So the remote and the collar are both waterproof, so we want to make sure that when we are done charging that we have those ports sealed up really, really nicely so no dirt, debris, or moisture gets in there, and we don't have any problems when it comes to charging. The remote and the collar both hold a charge for about 48 hours, so about 2 days. This is going to be the case as long as we are turning these off at night. So Asher should only be wearing this collar for 12 to 14 hours a day. So put it on first thing in the morning and take it off last thing at night, and then turn them off. When we're charging these, I recommend only leaving them on the charger for a few hours because they do charge relatively quickly, and if we leave it on the charger completely overnight, there is a possibility of messing up the battery. So what's in the box? What comes with everything? So in the box is the original collar that the stimulator came on. We did go ahead and switch that out to one with a quicker little clasp here instead of one that's a lot like a belt. This one also has a little bungee on the side, so it has a little bit more give, whereas this one does not. Get that to fit it back in here. It also comes with a lanyard to put your remote on because we're not wanting to put that remote in our pants pocket. With us putting it in our pants pocket, there is a large possibility of us not only unlocking and adjusting the level, but accidentally following through with Asher when it is not necessary. You've got your 2-bay charger, so you can charge your remote and your collar at the exact same time, which is very nice. And then you have different stimulating prongs. These are not really necessary to switch out when it comes to Asher because of the fact that he does have such short hair. Underneath the tray, if I can grab a hold of it, underneath the tray is going to be our instruction manual. I couldn't think of the word, I'm so sorry. Is our instruction manual. So if by chance you lose the link to this video, you don't want to look up the video, you always will have your instruction manual underneath the tray so that you can look up and see exactly how to change the level if you need to and you forget. Now the cool thing about this remote and collar, like I previously stated, is that it is waterproof. It also reaches a half a mile radius, so he can be a half mile away or just about a half mile away, and you'll still be able to communicate with him using this remote and remote caller. It also has a 2-year warranty, which is amazing. So if something was to happen and it stops charging, or it just won't connect, or you can't get the remote to turn on, you can go ahead and contact the company on the side, and they should take care of it for you as long as it's within the 2-year window. So that's everything that has to do with Asher's collar. Don't forget to stay consistent and to have fun.